Kevin won the scholarship, and he speaks for Mary Kay at her events. So, our next, I call her my keynote speaker. It's been my absolute pleasure and honor to get to know Rosie Woods. Rosie, it's okay if I tell them how old you are. You are so awesome. In Cystic Fibrosis, we love to tell people how old we are, and we celebrate birthdays. Rosie is 49 years old, living with cystic fibrosis, and living well. She and Pete just got back from a Caribbean cruise, a Hawaiian cruise, and she is our speaker tonight. I can't even say enough nice things about her, so I'm just going to let her come up and wow you. Please welcome Rosie.
I'm only 48. Okay. She took away my thunder. I'm 48 and I have CF. I'm the youngest of 11 children, and I have 7 brothers and 3 sisters, and I'm the only one in the family with CF. I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when I was just 6 months old, and back when I was diagnosed in early '62, there was not much hope for survival, much less longevity. Not surprisingly, treatments have changed so much in the years since I was diagnosed. Back then, my mom would wake up every single day to get my nebulizer treatment ready. Then she would pound me on a slant board that my dad made from 2x4s and plywood. It wasn't padded, so I got both sides. But it was functional and affordable, which is what you need in a big family. There was no day off for my mom or me, regardless of what else might be happening. My mom was given a printed sheet of instructions with absolutely no follow-up, and it was just stick figures laying on a board telling her what to do. My parents always told me to be positive, have a positive attitude, and always think of things on the bright side. At the same time, I always knew about CF, and they never hid any of the scary statistics about CF from me. I was never treated like I was the sick one. The only treat I had was that I got my own room. With a big family like that, that was great. The reason I got my own room was because back then CF patients had to sleep in mist tents, and they were really loud. Can't really figure out what good it was supposed to do me. After a while, my parents just got rid of it because I was literally sleeping in mist every night. You can imagine how bad that is for a CF patient, sleeping in mist. Everything turned moldy very quickly. Not really good. As a child with that big of a family, I was exposed to all the germs that my brothers and sisters were exposed to. And I'm sure that was not good for me. But with that big of a family, you had no choice. If it was in the house, we all got it. In 1968 and 1969, the life expectancy of a CF patient was just 10 years old. I was 7 years old in first grade, and I was a Cystic Fibrosis National Poster Child. I was to take part in a fundraising commercial with my dad. While preparing, my dad was given instructions to say something to the effect of that I was his daughter and I would probably not live to be a teenager because of the devastating effects of CF. He was supposed to say this with me sitting on his lap. I looked up and saw the raw emotion in my dad's eyes, and I can't imagine how hard that would be for a parent to think, let alone have to say out loud. I'll never forget that look in my dad's eyes, and I promised my dad that very day that I would do everything in my power to not let this disease kill me. I told my wonderful father that I would live to see this disease cured, and I still plan to keep that promise to him. Like my siblings, I had to walk to school all year, even when it was really cold, snowy, didn't matter. We didn't have school buses at my school back then. And I would take my enzymes with me, put them in my pocket. You're not supposed to do that, but I did. And take them when I needed them. And because I was from such a big family, the nurse would hold some for me just in case I lost them. When I was young, my parents put a pool in our backyard. It was great fun. and it was really good for me. We swam every single day that we could in the spring, summer, and fall. A dear friend of mine, Judy, who had CF, died when she was just 10. She had a trampoline that she jumped on quite often. Her parents, knowing how good the bouncing did Judy, gave her trampoline to me. We jumped on that trampoline all the time, sometimes from the trampoline into the pool. I went for a very long time being the lucky one, the one that did not have to go in the hospital for tune-ups. I still consider myself the lucky one, but now I'm lucky because I can still go in the hospital just for a tune-up. A few years ago, I had a port placed in my arm. The port makes it easier to access my veins. Yes, Dr. Stone. And it's so much easier than IVs or PICCs. Most of my life, I've been very compliant with my treatments. Now, as an adult, I'm extremely compliant. Treatments make a huge difference and must come first. As an adult with CF, it's sometimes hard emotionally and definitely financially. I worked full-time for 25 years. I loved my job. I loved the company I worked for. I loved the people that I worked with. But after frequent illnesses and getting run down, eventually it becomes necessary to seek disability. That's one of the realities of CF. At some point in our lives, surviving and doing treatments becomes our full-time job. And I try really hard to be good at my job. Some people live with disabilities that are visible. CF, for the most part, is invisible. I've always tried really hard to make my family proud of me with the way that I handle having this disease. I was always told that God only gives you the things that you can handle. And I've always been very open about telling people that I have CF. I figured the more people that know, the more awareness there is out there in the world. I told Pete, my husband, about cystic fibrosis on our first date, and he never blinked an eye. I knew right away that he had the special strength that it would take to stay with me. Since that day, he's been my rock of support and my constant inspiration, and he's been with me for 28 years. I asked some of my family members how CF affected them. They said that growing up, mostly they remember the constant coughing. I'm sure all of you know that. But they also remember that I was treated normal, just one of the kids. I personally think that helped me in so many ways. It made me understand that I am not different. CF is just part of me. It does not define me. I think having CF has made me a better person, more accepting of others. Some of my family members said that they feel guilty that they were not born with CF. To that, I can only say that I'm glad it was me. I believe in the years from the oldest to me, technology advancements had come so much that it made it possible for me to survive. Remember, for us, the CF patient, it's so much easier. We do not know what it's like to not have CF. Having CF is our normal. Treatments to me are as normal as brushing your teeth is to you. It's just something I do every day, and I can't imagine not doing it. That's not to say that sometimes it doesn't get in the way of other things I would rather be doing, but when that happens, I just ask myself, what's more important than breathing? Clinical trials are the key to our future. I volunteered for so many trials over the years. Trials will be the biggest help for patients of the future. If the CFers from my era did not do some of those trials, some of the treatments that are available now to your children might not exist. Let and encourage your children to do these trials. You don't know how many amazing people they may be helping in the future. I did, and now I get to meet some of those amazing people. One thing CF cannot take away from me is my right to dream. My dream is I'll be able to keep the promise I made to my dad in 1968, that someday in the near future, CF will stand for Cure Found. And let me just end this by saying that CF parents are my heroes. You help us, this is the hard part, you guide us, you guard us, you work hard for us. My mom and dad did everything they could for me. They helped me in ways that they never knew. And you're helping your children in ways that you may never know, and you always will.
Thank you, Rosie. And I just, now everybody's all misty. I'm all misty too. Okay, so, oh my goodness, that was really beautiful.